Today I'm showing you 5 more of my favorite cycling items from AliExpress. These items include some of the best deals I've ever seen on the website. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. The first item on the list is especially great if you are trying to get faster or if you just want to make sure that you are doing okay, and that is a heart rate monitor. This one is from a brand called Magene and the model is called H303, and this is exactly one of those items that I find to be exceptional value. This one is less than 10 euros and the construction as well as the functionality is flawless for me. I've used it for about 30 rides now. During those 30 rides, I never had it disconnect from my device. The data was always reliable, and as such, it had a great impact on my training. So let's take a more detailed look at the product and let's disconnect the heart rate monitor from the strap. Let's start off with the strap. This is a very basic, kind of heart rate strap. It is of quite a thick and stretchy material that is not too stretchy. So it really sits comfortable, but yet securely below your chest area. You can change the size of the strap by using this little motion here. So it's a very simple construction, but yet effective. You can get it really tightly to be below your chest so that you get a very accurate reading. Also, you connect the strap with this little hook here. So you just hook it in and it sits securely. So with that, let's get to the actual sensor. And as you can see, the sensor here clicks into the strap via 2 press buttons and then it sits in there. The heart rate monitor doesn't have any buttons, so you just pick it up and it should detect that you're using it right away. The pairing also is pretty seamless, so depending on what you use, for me it was Strava and Zwift, it connected immediately. It was always picked up right away, and that is really nice. What is also really nice is that the heart rate monitor actually came with a battery inside, so you could use it right away. And for the price of less than 10 euros, I think I paid about 9.50 euros or so. This is tremendous value and could have a great impact on your training. So for that price, I think the product is an actual no-brainer. And everybody who could use a heart rate monitor should get one, even if it's just as a backup. But with that being said, let's jump over to the second item. The second item on the list is a must-have item for the darker months of the year, which we are getting to in central Switzerland. And while having shown you guys the rear version of that light, today we are talking about the front light version. This is the Rockbros RHL 1500, and this is the D version. There's a couple different versions of this light. Depending on what you get, you either have a mount like this one for the action cam mount. There's also a mount for just clipping it onto your handlebars. There's a voice control version for some reason, and there's a version with a remote. And as you can see here on the B-roll shots, it works perfectly with my little mount here. I have talked about this mount in another video of mine. If you want to check it out, click here. But to talk about the construction of this light, it is built like a tank, so you can probably hear it. It is solid aluminium and has a really sturdy front part as well. This one has plexiglass in the front. This one is a very solid light. Because it is built so solidly, it's not the lightest of all front lights. It is about 180 grams. You can see the exact number on the screen now. But for the weight, it packs an incredible punch. This light is incredibly bright. I really love it. It has 5 different modes. You can change the brightness of the light, of course. It has 4 different modes. And there's another mode which can be combined with any of the brightness levels, which is a flickering mode. So if you ride in the daytime, for example, you can be seen a bit better. Luckily, this light, exactly like the rear version, is also being charged with USB-C, which makes it quite future-proof. Moreover, I really like that the light is being mounted on the lower side of your handlebars or on your mount. So it's not sitting on top, but it's below. So you can easily navigate on your Wahoo or Garmin device. It's not really in the way, it's quite hidden. The battery is also quite great. As I said, it has 5 different modes. Depending on the light mode you choose, it can last from 2 up to 10 hours, which is at least what it says on the packaging. When I used the middle mode, I got about 4 hours consistently. Leaving the topic of battery life behind, well, we are not talking about the cheapest item here. This one is about 25 euros, depending on the version you get, of course, which is not cheap by any means. I don't want to say that, but it is one of the highest quality lights you can get from Rockbros or pretty much any other brand. If you compare it to similar products from Lesign or other Western brands, you pretty much pay around 60, 70, maybe even more. So it is still great value, even though it is not cheap in and of itself. But for the construction that you get, for the light power and the battery, it's quite the package. And I like the design, I like the usability. It's USB-C. What more can you ask for it? And this is really a must-have for the times where it gets dark pretty early now. this is a great little companion, especially in combination with the rear light that I showed you in the earlier video. So with that being said, let's go over to the third item. The third item on the list is another one of those items where I couldn't believe how cheap it is and how well it works. We are talking about the RideRace mini pump. This one is amazing. It's tremendous value, and I will show you guys the price in just a sec. So this is very comparable to other mini pumps in that you open the pump, you pull out this little tube, and then you screw in the other side on the lower part, and you get like a little pump construction that has a great little form factor to go along on your ride. And this one really surprised me. If you look at the form factor of this pump, you see it is quite tiny, but yet the volume that you get out of the pump is crazy. It is working much better than any of the other mini pumps that I've used and talked about in the videos before. This one is really great. So here you can see that I have pumped up my gravel tire, which is a 35mm 700C tire. It did that in less than 2 minutes, in 115 seconds, which is really great. So the volume that you get out of this little pump is tremendous. And I told you that this is an insane value, and with that, let's get to that point. This pump, along with the little frame mount that you can see here, it was less than €4, and for that it is, I mean, you cannot compare it to anything else, because if you look at mini pumps from other brands, Lesign, whatnot, they cost about 30-35 bucks, a ninth of the price. That is quite crazy. So this is literally one of the best deals you can get on AliExpress that I've seen, at least. So this is, again, a no-brainer item for longer rides. If you are far from home or if you go on bikepacking trips, this is great. The construction is also good. It's mostly plastic, but it's not a cheap kind of plastic. It's quite a sturdy one. I would say it feels appropriate. It is quite light. You can see the weight here on the B-roll shots, so it's not really a penalty to take along. And yeah, for the usability that you get, great. And with that, let's get over to the fourth item. The fourth item on the list is a saddlebag, and this is a very sturdy one that has great weather resistance. This one is from a brand called Sahu, but it is manufactured by many different companies, or at least many different brands slap their logo on it. This one is really great quality. It is quite lightweight, as you can see here on the B-roll shots, and yet it is still a very sturdy construction. So if you can just hear the Velcro, it is a very securely connecting Velcro with a very thick strip here, if you can see that, and a lot of contact patch. So you should have no problem with this wiggling around or getting loose over time. I've had this covered in dirt and it didn't really make a difference. Shake it up a bit, rub on it a bit so that the thick dirt falls out, and then the connection is still very secure. It is also quite a large one. The volume, I would say, is maybe half a liter. And what you can also see, you have sealed zippers here with a small little zipper pull, so no water gets inside. And during the use, I have also not had any water come inside, and it is quite rainy here in central Switzerland at the moment. But yeah, the inside is lined with a sort of like a rubber plastic type material. Quite some space, definitely enough space for a multi-tool, inner tube, a little pump, patches, whatever you might need. Also, the zipper here works flawlessly, as you can hear, and as you can see on the B-roll shots, it looks actually, for a saddlebag, quite neat. Very minimalistic and square shape, so I really like the look of it as well. And for the price, which again, this one is below €10, so this one is about €8 depending on the seller you get it from. But for that price, you can definitely not make a mistake with this one. Sturdy construction, does what it should do, and your items inside are pretty safe. So with that being said, let's go over to the fifth and last item. The fifth and last item today is the 11-in-1 multi-tool. This one comes from the Best Life store, but as you will see, it is a sort of like a generic multi-tool that is sold by various different brands, same as with the saddlebag. But this one is a great, simple to-go tool and take along on rides so that you can always have the reassurance that you can fix some minor mistakes, and also a chain, which we will see in a second. So first of all, let's probably take a look at the tools that are included in this multi-tool. And as you will see here on the B-roll shots, we have the usual suspects, like a Phillips screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver. Always helpful to have those on hand. We have a 1.5mm Allen key here. and that one goes up to the 8mm version. So with this little adapter, you can even fix your pedals if they were for some reason getting loose on a ride. But yeah, this is not all what the item includes. And the last thing is especially great if you are going on longer rides. If you have an extra chain link, you can use this little tool to separate your chain. All you do is you screw it open, just like that. Then you put your chain inside, and then you can split the chain links and insert a new link in case it breaks. I have had to use this one before, like once, but still, this one really saved my ride in that case. So yeah, definitely handy to have. And what is really great about this item is that it only costs around 5 euros, as you can see here. This is about a fourth or fifth of what the comparable items from Western brands go for. So for that price, again, it is kind of a no-brainer to just have it as a backup tool in your ride pouch. Definitely great to give you some reassurance. But yeah, all in all, I have to say this is a simple yet effective, cheap, no-brain item. Will probably not give you a lot of joy, but it's more like a necessity. So with that being said, those are the 5 items. And with that, let's get to the outro. So, as always, if you've gotten anything out of the video, please consider liking or subscribing. And in any case, have a great week. Bye bye.